They warned him not to open that cage, said what lived inside wasn't a dog anymore, just a shadow with teeth, built for pain, trained for war. A creature that forgot how to be loved. But sometimes, what the world labels as dangerous is just something no one had the courage to understand. They told him, stay away. He's a risk, a liability, a mistake. But Alex Rivera didn't come to the shelter looking for safety. He came looking for something that could understand his silence. You sure about this? That dog isn't a project. He's a warning. You said he has issues. He's a former fighting dog, abused, used, abandoned. That he attacked 2 adopters that were giving him 2 more weeks. Then we stopped trying. Named Shadow. He doesn't trust, doesn't forget, doesn't play. He survives. That's all he knows. I'll take him. Alex, this isn't a rescue. He's not a pet. He's trauma with teeth. So am I. It wasn't a home he took him to. Not really. Just a cabin tucked deep in the woods. A place where even the trees don't ask questions. A place built by someone who didn't want to be found. Shadow stepped out of the Jeep like a ghost. Didn't sniff, didn't wag, just walked in, found a dark corner, and faced the wall. Alex didn't approach, didn't demand, didn't try to fix him. He just placed a bowl nearby and sat on the floor, reading aloud. Not for the dog, maybe not even for himself, just to fill the silence with something gentler than memory. 3 days passed. Shadow ate, but never looked up, never barked, never moved from that corner. And then came the storm. Lightning cracked like bones, thunder rolled like war drums, and Shadow shattered. Panic, terror. He wasn't in that cabin anymore. He was back in the ring. Furniture fell, walls scratched, breath short and wild. And Alex, he didn't chase. Didn't shout. He lay down on the floor, opened his palms, and whispered, "You're safe now. I won't touch you. I won't leave you." And slowly Shadow crawled across the broken pieces of himself and pressed his trembling body against Alex's chest. Sometimes, the first bond isn't made with hands. It's made with silence, with presence, with pain that finally has company. Days passed, then weeks. Walks began, slow, careful. Shadow watching birds like he wasn't sure if he should chase them or envy their freedom. He started eating beside Alex, sitting close, not out of command, out of choice. Then came the town, the stares, the whispers. That the one from the shelter? The dangerous one. Alex didn't explain, didn't defend, because Shadow didn't need a reputation cleaned. He needed a future built. One afternoon, in the park, a child ran toward them, fast, loud, laughing. Shadow froze, his back arched, hackles rose, the old reflex, awake in an instant. Alex stepped forward, calm, firm, arms outstretched. The child stopped, no harm done. But that night, Shadow whimpered in his sleep. And Alex said nothing, just let him rest beside the bed, close enough to touch, but far enough to choose. The world still saw a threat, but Alex saw a survivor. A soul stitched together by fear, but still breathing, still trying. And that was only the beginning. In a small village, a cat named Whiskers discovered a magic fish in a pond. The fish promised 3 wishes in exchange for its freedom. Whiskers wished for endless fish, a cozy bed, and a bell that rang softly. The fish granted all 3 wishes and swam away, leaving Whiskers content and purring in the sun. Some stories begin with love, theirs began with fear. Shadow had learned not to flinch when touched, but he hadn't yet learned how to lean in. Alex didn't rush it, didn't expect more than what was given. They moved like ghosts through the world, one man and one dog, each carrying a past that didn't fit in words. One morning, Shadow brought him a stick, not to play, just to offer a gesture that said, "I see you. I trust you." It rained that day, but they stayed outside. Sometimes healing doesn't come through medicine. Sometimes it's mud. It's wind. It's silence shared under gray skies. But not everyone believed Shadow had changed. "You're making a mistake, Alex. Dogs like that, they snap. Always do." He didn't argue, he just listened. And Shadow watched, listened, learned. They say the hardest thing to unlearn is survival. Then came the test. Late one night, a scream outside the cabin. A woman, running, bleeding. Alex opened the door. A stranger followed, wild-eyed, drunk, shouting. Shadow stood between them, still, solid, No growl. No bark. But when the man stepped forward, Shadow lunged. Not to kill. To stop. Precise. Controlled, he pinned the man down without a scratch more than fear. Police came. Questions followed. This dog attacked someone. No, this dog protected someone. The woman cried into Shadow's fur. He didn't flinch. Alex knew. The world would always ask, is he safe? But now, he could finally answer. Yes, safe to love, safe to trust, safe to believe in. Shadow wasn't fixed, he was never broken, just misread. A few weeks later, a boy from the shelter came to visit, the same one who used to feed Shadow behind the staff's back. Shadow walked up to him Saturday and placed his head under the boy's hand. He finally understood what it meant to be touched without fear. Alex watched from the porch, didn't say a word, just smiled, the kind of smile that comes only after surviving yourself. Shadow didn't wag his tail much, but he followed Alex everywhere, and sometimes that was more than enough. They say some souls find each other across lifetimes, that maybe we return to finish what pain once interrupted. Alex and Shadow didn't fix each other. They walked beside each other while the world kept spinning. And for the first time in years, neither of them walked alone. Not a rescue, not a redemption, just a beginning. And for them, that was everything. In a small village, a cat named Whiskers discovered a magic fish in a pond. The fish promised 3 wishes in exchange for its freedom. Whiskers wished for endless fish, a cozy bed, and a bell that rang softly. The fish granted all 3 wishes and swam away, leaving Whis. Some endings don't come with a bang. They come with quiet mornings and the sound of someone breathing beside you who never used to. Shadow no longer feared the dark, but he still watched the door at night, not out of panic, but out of habit. Old instincts, softened, not erased. Alex had begun rebuilding the porch, not because it needed fixing, but because it finally felt like someone might stay. One day, a letter arrived from the shelter. A new dog, abandoned, same history, same scars, and no one willing to take her. Alex didn't hesitate. He didn't even ask Shadow. He just looked at him, and Shadow looked back. No bark, no whine, just a slow blink. A quiet yes. They drove 2 hours. In silence. The kind of silence that has weight, like the world pausing, just long enough for something sacred to arrive. She was small, too thin, shaking like leaves in October wind. Shadow didn't approach. He simply lay down a few feet away and waited. It took 3 days before she ate near them. 5 before she stopped hiding in the corner. 7 before she touched Alex's hand. Shadow led, quietly, patiently, like someone who remembered what it was to be afraid and how long it took to forget. The town still watched from a distance, but less now, less fear, more wonder. That the same dog? No, not the same. Better, because someone believed he could be. Seasons changed. The cabin filled with more bowls, more muddy paw prints, more quiet mornings with heavy hearts that now beat softer. And one day, Alex stood by the river, Shadow beside him, the new dog, Willow, chasing birds like she was. Born wild. He looked down at Shadow. You saved me, you know, before I ever saved you. Shadow leaned his weight against his leg, just enough to say, I know. They weren't perfect, none of them, but they were free, free from cages, free from the names others gave them, free from the past. Not all stories have villains. Some just have survivors waiting to be seen. And maybe, just maybe, what the world calls dangerous is really just love that's never been given a chance. Curs content and purring in the sun.